This is a webinar about how to write a blog in minutes with AI. I'm Cindy Perlin. I'm the founder and CEO of the Alternative Pain Treatment Directory. And this is a webinar that's being offered exclusively to our listed providers. So this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to just introduce ourselves. I have two members of my team here with me, Charlena and Sloan. And we're going to talk about why blog at all, because this is about blogging with AI. What is artificial intelligence? Choosing an AI tool, but we'll focus on one in particular, ChatGPT. And then we'll talk about how you define your topic and other parameters before you get started. We'll talk about prompts, which is basically the instructions that you give to the AI platform, to determine what output you get. And then I'll have whoever wants to can propose a topic. And then I'll do a live demonstration with ChatGPT, which is the probably the longest lived, the one that's been around the longest in terms of AI writing tools, and probably the most developed. And then I'll talk about some other resources you might want to bring into your blogging or use for other purposes, and then have some time for questions and answers. So this is my team. There's me. Charlena does marketing and provider support, and Charlena does SEO, which is search engine optimization and provider support. And Spencer is our webmaster who takes care of the more technical aspects of the website when we need him. So why blog? Are you all blogging at least, even if you haven't used AI?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
So one of the things, blogging is a kind of marketing called content marketing, where you don't just like promote yourselves outright, but you show people your expertise. And it's a way of attracting new clients, keeping your current audience engaged. If you have blogs on your website or on your profile on the Alternative Pain Treatment Directory, you will have more opportunities through search engines to get recognized and get more traffic. And it's an opportunity to incorporate more keywords into your website or into your profile, so that Google is more likely to find you for relevant issues, clients looking for what you offer. And also search engines like Google tend to prefer websites that are frequently updated. So one way to frequently update your website is to add new content. There's only so many ways you can describe what you do and keep changing it, but just putting out information on a regular basis on your website or your profile will automatically show that it's an active website. There's something like, I forget the number, something like 2 billion websites now. So when Google does a search, there's a lot to choose from. And there's all kinds of parameters that Google uses, and they like websites that have a lot of content, particularly educational content, and that get updated frequently. And I've also noticed that, there is the ability to put a blog on your provider profile. We have two kinds of blogs on the Alternative Pain Treatment Directory. One is the featured blog, which I write or have guest posters contribute. And those are the ones that I get out there the most by featuring them in our newsletters and things like that. So, they come up first on the website. But in your provider profile, you can also post blogs. And I found that the providers who have blogs in their profiles get a lot more traffic to their profile. And, hopefully from there, a lot more referrals from their profile. So something to keep in mind. And I know there's a lot of reasons people don't blog. One obviously is time. It takes a lot of time if you're just going to do it yourself to write a blog. And another thing is, people don't have a lot of confidence in their writing skills sometimes. So they say, I'm good at what I do. I'm a good acupuncturist or physical therapist, but I'm not a good writer. So hopefully I'll show you how AI can really help you with that. So what is AI, which is short for artificial intelligence? It's a machine's ability to perform cognitive functions that we normally associate with what humans can do. You know, reasoning, analyzing, problem solving, being creative. You probably don't realize it, but you're interacting with AI every day. If you have and I'll say this slow because hopefully I won't interact with her. If you have an Alexa device, good, she didn't turn on, so I have one in the room. That's an AI platform. It uses AI to, you know, you ask a question, it can respond just like a human can. You can, another thing is these driver safety features in a lot of new cars that help you prevent accidents, you know, tell you if you're going over a line or if there's someone coming up behind you, you know, crossing behind you if you're trying to back up, or those kinds of features are AI. Another thing that's AI is when you go onto Amazon and you're shopping, it will recommend certain things, you know, based on your past purchases or what you're trying to buy. That's AI. When you do a Google search, that's AI. If you're talking to a chat bot, that's AI. So it's already incorporated in many of the things that we do. Some people are worried that AI is just going to take over the world. I think that's a very remote possibility. They're building robots that, you know, pretty much look like humans, that can use their hands, and that can do all sorts of tasks. But I think we're a long way from having AI take over. But the abilities are pretty amazing, which you'll see just with the writing tool that we're going to look at. So the two most popular AI writing tools are ChatGPT, which is developed by a company called OpenAI. And then there's Google has a version called Gemini. Chat has been around longer, ChatGPT. It's more developed. There's more plugins for it. I'll talk about plugins in a minute. And it's what I've been using the most. You can take the same prompt that you're using in ChatGPT and, you know, stick it in Google Gemini, and you'll probably get different input or output. And you can play around with that if you want to see which one you like better. But I usually stick with ChatGPT. I really like it. There's all kinds of other tools, which I'll talk about a little bit later, in terms of what's accessible that you can do with AI. A lot of it for free up to a point. Usually you get to, you know, try things out for free for a while, or there's a certain volume of things that you can do. And if you're using it more, they want to be paid, which seems reasonable to me. So both ChatGPT and Gemini have both free and paid versions. The cost for the paid one is about $20 per month. And I have a paid one for the directory because, you know, there's some features that I really like that it has that are only accessible with paying them. And I think $20 a month, if you use it a lot, is worth it. So with free ChatGPT, like I said, there's access limits. There's a limit on the number of messages or tasks you can ask it to do per hour or day. I don't know offhand what those are because I moved into the paid version pretty quickly. Response times might be slower. If you're at a busy time and a lot of people are using the platform, they're going to give priority to paid members. So I don't know, when I was using the free version, that wasn't a problem, but that was a few months ago, and use of these platforms is growing exponentially. So, you know, you can try the free version and see if it meets your needs. The other thing about free is that the free version is usually older. I guess with AI, they keep adding information to it. So when I first went on ChatGPT, and it was it a year ago? Whenever it was only it was only current to a certain date. So if you wanted newer information beyond that date, you couldn't get it through ChatGPT. And when they introduced the first paid version, you could get newer information. So let's say that you were asking it for research citations. The free version would only give you up to a certain date, and the paid version was newer and would give you fairly current, like within the last month or up to the last month kind of information. So that's an issue. If you want the latest information, you might have to use the paid version. So another thing is that the free version doesn't have plugins. Plugins are other AI features that you can access right through ChatGPT. One of them, image creation, I think is now available for free, but I'm going to show you that, and it's got its issues. Whether it's paid or free, it's got its issues. It doesn't always give you what you want, and there's other image creation tools too you can access. And then availability, according to ChatGPT, they may be doing more maintenance on the older versions that the free users use. So you can, I recommend you go in and try it for free, see how much you're going to use it and whether the free version meets your needs. And most likely it will, because there's a lot to it. So getting started on writing a blog, one of the first things you want to do is figure out what you want the blog to be about, so it should be based on something having to do with what you do, not only because you'll be able to evaluate the content, but also, that's what you want to write about anyway, if you want to attract people to your practice or your business that's related. It should be topics that add value to your patients, your potential patients, members of your audience, and it should be entertaining or educational content. You don't want it to just be promoting yourself. The way that you do with blogs is you show your expertise by what you write, or what you have ChatGPT write in this case. And then you say how people can reach you. You can put a call to action at the end that says, if you want help with this, give me a call or email me or something like that. So the main thing is that you want it to be something of value to the audience that you're aiming at. Otherwise, why would they bother? So the purpose is you could be raising awareness. You could be someone like Harry, who's in the biofeedback and neurofeedback equipment and supply business. So you might want to use it to raise awareness. Why is a patient go for biofeedback or neurofeedback treatment, or as a provider, why you might want to add it to your practice, why you want to, and Harry also offers training. So why you might want to go and get training. You might specifically be wanting to generate more referrals from that particular blog, or you might want to build connections with other healthcare providers or businesses. And you want to define your audience. Are you aiming to reach patients or other healthcare professionals with this blog? Are you wanting to reach patients with certain conditions, or are you just aiming for a general audience? So, as far as the alternative pain treatment directory, are you looking to attract people with fibromyalgia or migraine headaches, or, whatever? You want to be very specific. So what if you don't know what to blog about? You can ask ChatGPT, and here's a sample prompt, and we're going to go there in a minute and fill in the blanks. Please suggest some topics for blogs for your target audience about treatment or project. Two, what's your purpose? And then it will come up with some topics. So I'm just going to, this is the technical part that I'm not sure I grasped yet, is switching from this PowerPoint to the platform. So let's see. Okay. So here we are. This is ChatGPT. This is what it looks like. This 4.0 is the latest paid version of ChatGPT. So who would like to fill in the blanks here? Ari, do you want to try it? You need to unmute.
What am I doing now?
Yeah, so do you want to fill in the blanks? Like, please suggest some topics for who would your target audience be?
Let's say headache, um tension headache sufferers or something
Okay.
like that.
Whoops. Now my typing skills. Okay, and what treatment or product do you want it to be about? Biofeedback,
Yeah,
maybe?
I guess sure, biofeedback.
Whoops. Whoops. Mind me. Harry, is that purpose to educate them?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We had a discussion earlier, Sloan and Charlene and I, about whether you use please or not. Because I always feel funny asking a computer or that device that responds to you from Amazon. I feel funny saying please to, a device. But actually, when I asked ChatGPT to suggest some prompts, they put please in the prompt. So, and then when I get the answer, I always feel like saying thank you, but it feels stupid, But anyway, I'm putting in please. You actually don't need please, it'll still do it. Okay, so. See how fast it works? So did everybody see that? I'm going to scroll up. You see how fast that works? So, here's some topics: understanding biofeedback, a comprehensive guide for tension headache sufferers, how biofeedback can help manage and reduce tension headaches. And they even give you a couple of suggestions for topics within your blog: a step-by-step guide to a biofeedback session, the science of biofeedback, how it helps alleviate headaches, do-it-yourself biofeedback techniques you can try at home. So you can see that, if you don't have ideas, you can get them pretty quickly and easily. And then you can also just take this and say, I'll just do it from here, but we'll do a different prompt later. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it. I'm just going to say, please, I'll use please.
So Cindy, when you do a blog, I guess one of my first questions, since I've not done it, is they used to say this about, magazine articles. They were never supposed to be longer than it would take you to visit the bathroom. How long are these supposed to be?
So I was going to get into it in the next prompt. Actually, let me go to the next prompt. And we'll get into that. There's a lot of discussion about how long a blog should be, because I'll reference Google, because something like 93% of internet searches are Google. So everybody, worries about Google the most. So Google keeps changing what they call its algorithm, which is another AI tool, in terms of its prioritizing content to pull up on searches. So over time, historically, they've preferred short articles, 500 to 800 words. And then they went to preferring really long articles, like 2,500 words. I think now they're somewhere in the middle. Sloan, are you there? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, I was just looking at that. It says that based on the, excuse me, there's short form blogs, 300 to 600 words, standard 800 to 1200. So I would fall in the middle there somewhere. And then if you have a longer one that has a lot more content, maybe 15 to 2500.
And is that what search engines prefer?
That's what AI says, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've sort of been aiming in the middle range, like around 1,200 words. So I just put one
Yeah.
out that I just put one out that was over 20, that was over 2,000 words. And I don't know if you all saw that. It was in last week's newsletter and the next to latest at this point. It was about electrical systems in the body.
Systems for the body. Yep.
Yeah, so that one I thought was kind of a complex topic. And, I kept adding to it as I went along. So they could really be anywhere, I think that you want to adequately cover the topic. I don't think that Google really likes things that are too brief, that don't include a lot of valuable information. So you want to include something of value, as we said before. Somebody just submitted a guest blog, and besides including misinformation, it was so lacking in detail that it really wasn't much use to anybody, so we passed on it. It could be anywhere in the range of 500 to 2,500, but somewhere in there and adequately covering the topic. And I'd say somewhere in the middle of that.
Google
Thank you.
says 15 to 2,500.
Is that what they say they prefer now? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, Lon.
yeah.
no problem.
So I'm just going to go to the next slide here. We'll challenge my ability to get back to this. Let's see.
Look, and I was going to say something too.
Okay.
One thing to consider is we're not writing a novel, because sometimes we create so much content that not remembering that you could take some of that same content, that content where it's too much, and you can create another blog. I'm guilty too. Sometimes I just go head in, I just spill everything in one blog rather than saying, okay, let me make this blog specifically about this, and all of the extra, the extra 500 words, let me recreate another blog. Because when we're making one, it may be 3. So
yeah, and it could be
yeah.
the sequel.
Say that again.
The sequel.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're not writing a book. And just remember, create enough, and then you can create another one based on the additional information that you would like to create in the first one.
Yeah, thank you. So, so when you write a prompt, it's called a prompt, and basically that's the instructions to ChatGPT or any AI about what you want. So you want to be as specific as you can. So you want to specify the subject. So tone and style. Now, I had a lot of fun with this in the beginning when I first started using ChatGPT. So you could ask it to be formal, informal, humorous, professional. You can ask it to be in some famous person's voice, like a writer, an actor, whatever. I asked it to write a blog, and then I think it was an ad at that point, because Sloan and Charlene and I took an AI course for marketing purposes. And I went in and I created an ad, and then I just said, do it in the voice of, and I love comedy, so different comedians, do it in the voice of Joan Rivers, do it in the voice of Billy Crystal, do it in the voice of Larry the Cable Guy. And it was pretty funny. And you can do this really quickly. So if there's somebody in the field you really respect who's published, you can say, write it in the voice of, so-and-so. You can also say, write it from the perspective of. So, if you want to write something from the perspective of a patient, you could do that, or from the perspective of the healthcare practitioner, or, whatever. You can say whose voice you want and what tone you want. You know, as I said, formal, informal, humorous, professional. I usually use a professional tone because of, you know, what I'm doing on the website. And then you want to define who the audience is for. You know, it could be for people who are completely new to a topic. It could be people with, you know, as I said, certain attributes. It can be, you know, just everybody. You know, if you have a very broad topic that applies to everybody, then you can just write it for general audience. And as far as chronic pain is concerned, or pain in general, there was a Harris poll in September of 2021, where 56% of the people they surveyed said they had chronic pain, which is way, way higher than the official figures, which are usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 100 million. So really, when you're talking about chronic pain, you're really talking to almost everybody, because if 56% of the people have chronic pain, that doesn't include the people with acute pain, that doesn't include that they're parents of someone or spouses of someone or children of someone who have chronic pain. So you're really talking to everybody, but you might want to be more specific for various other reasons than just, you know, write it for anybody. And then, as we were saying earlier, you want to tell it how long you want the article to be. And then you don't want to, you know, you want to say what you want it to cover. So you're an expert in your field. So you may have some ideas about what specific points you want to have covered. And then another thing you can do is you can say that you want references. Now, you have to be very careful with ChatGPT because sometimes they make it up. You know, they make them up. Now they've started saying if you don't specify you want real references, they'll say at the end, after they've cited some fake ones, these are just for illustrative purposes. You know, go check for yourself and find them yourself or something like that. But I was fooled the first time I used it because I assumed the references were real. And I'll show you another tool that's just wonderful that I just discovered if you want references. You can say you want examples, you know, you can say you want case examples of someone who's been treated, let's say for biofeedback for tension headache, and it'll throw them in. So let's go back to ChatGPT. Let's see. And I think it's the next one. So here I've included a prompt that goes over the things we're talking about. So please write a blog on the topic of, fill it in. The blog should be about a round number of words and written in a tone and style. The target audiences who are additional characteristics. Please cover the following key points. Additionally, provide relevant statistics and examples and/or, you notice I put in real research citations with links, and conclude with a summary or some tips. Harry, you want to try this one?
If you insist.
All right, so please,
Let's see, what am I doing here?
we can
Uh,
even just ask for the same thing we asked for last time. You want to go with that?
Sure, to save time.
Okay. So tension, headaches. Tension, headaches. The blog should be around, how many words do we want to say?
500, I don't know, 600.
Well, let's make it longer.
Longer? Okay, 1200.
Okay. Whoops. And what kind of tone would you like?
I would say like layman's terms, tone, sort
Well,
of.
professional, formal. Professional.
Informal.
Okay.
Curious.
And whoops, I guess I'll have my hand on the wrong place. informal tone. Do you want to say anything about style?
No, I'm not sure what to put there.
Okay, target audience is, are we looking at patients with,
Yeah.
okay. Who are, do you want to say anything else like new to the topic of drug-free?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to say on the topic of drug-free relief of tension headaches?
Sure.
Okay. Please cover the following key points. So, anything you want to specify there? We want them to include biofeedback, right?
Yeah.
And neurofeedback?
Um, if yeah, you could. I probably wouldn't put it in for this
Okay.
part, but you could.
Back here for tension headaches, it's not as generally used as for
Right.
migraines. So, okay.
And
And
I might want to just make sure they include information about the connection between um, chronic muscle tension and headaches.
how about chronic stress?
Sure.
Okay. Additionally, provide, you want to add anything else in? You want relevant statistics?
I think that, yeah, that's good.
How many people suffer from them?
Mm-hmm.
Statistics, and you want examples too?
Sure. And
You
I would
want
include the research too, the real research.
Would you throw in postural asymmetries, Harry?
Sure. Sounds
Hmm.
reasonable.
And do we want to conclude with some tips or both with a summary and some tips?
Yeah. Why not?
Gonna be, it's a good thing we didn't do a real short one.
Yeah, that's a lot of instruction, so it's gonna need some space for that.
Like 1,500 words. Let's try it. Sometimes they won't give you as many words as you suggest.
What I've found, and just in my experience, is the more words I asked for, the more likely it was that it was somewhat repetitive. Now I don't have a paid version, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't found it to be repetitive. I do think that it's gotten better very quickly. I know
Uh-huh.
long ago you had that experience, but I think that it's very quickly being more and more refined.
Uh-huh.
I think that the output I got at the very beginning when I started using it was not as good as what you get now.
Uh-huh.
So let's see what they give us.
Sure. It's amazing to just see it typing like that.
Can't even read it that fast. It's just amazing. Sit up straight. I got to keep remembering that one. My posture is terrible.
I had to shut the picture off of watching Harry lay back there. I would have fallen asleep if I kept watching him do that.
I included hydration and sleep. Let's see. So I don't see any research citations. So you can see how fast this is.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna skim it a little bit. You can all skim it. So it's defining them. Understanding tension headaches. Learn to understand the role of chronic muscle tension and stress. And of course you can tweak this. You can say, provide more information about a particular part of it. And because you're in the field, you can, they always say, check this for accuracy. If you're in the field and you have expertise in this area, you can read through it and you can say, okay, I don't agree with that. And you can just tweak it. So here they do say studies have shown that biofeedback can be highly effective in reducing the frequency and intensity of tension headaches. And then they didn't give us they said in the journal headache, but they didn't give us the specific references. So, and then they talk about posture. And so, Jay, I think you were the one that brought up posture, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can add to these
Right.
because you have expertise in this area, not just sit up straight, but you can add in, specific pointers that are more detailed, or you can ask ChatGPT, please provide more instructions on how to make sure you're sitting up straight. Just let's see what they come up with. Now they're generating a whole new blog.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've given you a whole new,
Yeah.
but you can take what you want out of that. So, and then I'm going to ask it about research.
Just to add in there, if you did it, I think if you just wrote rewrite blog with a section on posture, blah, 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 it would rewrite the whole thing for you without having to redo the prompt.
Yeah,
Just
you can do it that way. What I found though is sometimes when you do that, it doesn't give you all the content you already had. It'll shorten the rest of your content and you might lose something that you like. So that is another way to do that. Now, when you're doing the follow-up prompts, it does remember what you were talking about. So I'm going to say real here. Okay, so it's giving you an actual citation.
Mhm.
And what I would do, because they're not always that accurate, is click on the links and see what you get. Because when I first started using it, I was getting, I clicked the link and it wasn't what they said it was. It was some totally unrelated.
Okay. So Cindy, if you turned around and like Sloan was just saying, rewrite the blog with more information regarding thus and such information, and you didn't like it, do you just say restore original blog? Will it do
Oh,
that?
it'll still be there. It won't erase what it
Oh, okay.
already gave you. It'll
Got it.
still be there. So I'm gonna say rewrite the blog incorporating all of the above information. And what it might do, because we said 1,500 words, is it might eliminate some of the things.
Ray, to answer that question, you see on the left over here on Cindy's screen,
Yeah,
Yes.
you can
all
see
over
them all.
here, those are all the chats that she did. So every time you did one, you can go back to refer to it.
Got it. Thank you.
And what I found too is, once you get this, you want to copy and paste it. Don't copy and paste it directly into our website because it does, I forget what happens. Paste it into a Word document and then copy and paste that because it comes out formatted better on the website. And I don't know if that's true of other people's websites, but I know that just the way it's formatted or something, So you can see how quickly it works, how it specifically responds to your your instructions, and how you can play with it to make it better. You can also add in your own case examples if you want, or whatever, if you see something missing, something else missing, than what we've picked up here. And I know I'm scrolling through it really fast because, there's so much here. I don't want to start reading aloud. I don't think that's a good use of our time. But if you like, I can copy and paste this and send this to you after the fact, if anybody's interested in that. But you can see its capabilities. Now I want to go back to, so let's just ask it to generate an image that has to do with this. And this is, I think this is available in the free one. You used to have to go to a different platform, but there's something called DALL-E, D-A-L-L-E, and it works right within this particular version of ChatGPT. So what kind of image, how would you describe an image you might want here? Do you want a photo image? Do you want a graphic? Harry?
Excuse me.
Let's see. Probably a photo, maybe.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Woman, man?
Let's say man.
A man with a tension headache?
Yeah.
Okay, and what kind of a background? Where do you want him to be?
Maybe in the office.
In an office setting?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want, what age man do you want? Middle age, old man?
Middle age.
Okay. What do you think?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Now, I think that you can, because this is square, and sometimes I want, I want a like landscape image, but if you use the word landscape, it will give you a landscape in the background. So let's say, Well, let's try 3 to 2.
Oh, 16 by 9 is the inches. Yeah, 3 to 2 is yeah.
Okay. And now it may not give you the same image when you do that. Let's see what happens.
Like the first guy a little better, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, you could say, you know, recreate this image with the same guy as in the first one. We could try that.
It's fine.
Just see what happens. The second image with the same man that is in the first image. I haven't had great success doing this kind of thing, but let's see what happens. And I'm going to show you another image creation tool that I like better than DALL-E. Is that the same guy? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he's facing a different way now. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's amazing what it does.
Yeah, I find though the DALL-E images, they have a certain quality that I think is a little bit weird. So I'm going to go into this other one that I like. This is Adobe Firefly. And again, there's a free version and there's a paid version. Now I use an Adobe stock images platform that I pay for, you know, where I can get royalty-free, non-copyrighted images that I can use. And because I do that, I think I'm automatically in a paid version of this one.
That's
But
what I was going to ask you because I also use the stock images.
do you use stock.adobe.com?
Yeah, I have a paid
Yeah, so I
account
think
for it.
like there's a limit when you don't have a paid subscription to how many of these you can do in
Uh-huh.
a specified period of time. Where it's if you have a paid version, it's more. But like I said, I think the stock Adobe one, it gives you an automatic paid subscription to this. So what were the instructions that we used? Create a photo image of a
Middle-aged man,
middle-aged man with a
right,
headache,
headache. Yeah, in
headache.
an office setting. And then you had the aspect, the what was it, 3 to 2 or whatever, landscape.
Yeah.
Just tell it to generate. And they usually give you multiple ones.
No. Question with this, once you create these images, is there issue with the what do you call it? The usage of it? I
No,
mean,
it's yours. They're original
okay.
images, so they're yours. Now, it didn't give us the aspect ratio, but I do think that there's a place to specify it. So here it's saying aspect ratio and saying square. You want landscape, it's saying landscape is 4 to 3.
So,
So let's see if I do the same thing. I get a new prompt. Let's see. Photo, okay. So photo, there it is, generate. Four to 3. So it's a little less square.
hmm
And you know, you could be more specific in an office setting, sitting at a desk,
Right.
you know, where it automatically gave us sitting at a desk on the other one. So, you know, you can create anything you want. You can specify background colors. You can, you know, do all kinds of things with this. But it's pretty amazing. I want to show you another one, and this has to do with research. And I just discovered this. Okay, this is called Consensus. And of course, I had to go to a paid subscription. And this has to do with research, and I just discovered this the other day. So they like yes or no questions. They'll give you the most information if you ask a yes or no question. So we can say, is biofeedback effective for tension headaches? Let's ask it that. So what this is doing is it's drawing from consensus. But when you go into, so that's a plugin in ChatGPT, and see, it's giving you meta-analyses, it's giving you randomized controlled trials, comparative efficacy studies, physiological outcomes, consensus.app. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's ask it here. Is biofeedback effective for tension headache? And if you have synthesis and Copilot turned on, it's going to give you a summary. And it's saying here, 83% of studies say it's effective, possibly 6%, no, 11%. And we can get into a whole discussion about fake studies if you want, but I won't go into that now. And it's saying that some studies suggest biofeedback is effective for tension headaches by reducing muscle tension headache frequency, while other studies indicate it may not provide additional benefits over simple relaxation techniques. But Harry and I know it does, right, Harry? I don't know if anyone else on here is a biofeedback provider, but anyway. So here's a summary of what all the studies say, and then it gives you, you know, the studies that are out there. It actually gives you the, and if you click on this, it'll give you even more. It'll go into the specific study. So if you, and this is, you can see it's a lot better than ChatGPT for that purpose. I tried earlier today. I was kind of curious about what it would do for a highly controversial subject. I searched, is ivermectin effective against COVID? That's a very controversial subject. And this is what it gave me. Let's see. So a significant portion of the findings in this analysis have been disputed. But it will give you yes, 67%, possibly 7%, no, 27. And then it will give you a whole, you know, list of a whole summary of what's out there. It will give you, you know, which studies say no, which studies are unknown, which say yes. And as you can see, it delves further into the study. This is like, for me, mind-blowing to be able to get this kind of information this quickly, you know, and, you know, it's picking up, it'll tell you, if you look at the studies, it will say that this one was in a rigorous journal, JAMA. What can you expect from JAMA? Cochrane review, setting conclusives, the unknown. But it says for Cochrane review, if you're not familiar with that, let's see, is this Cochrane? Yeah, very rigorous journal. They're sort of considered the, I don't know if you're all familiar with them, but they're like the unbiased, you know, group supposedly, where they, you know, they're not linked to pharmaceutical companies or anything like that. And the reviews and meta-analyses are considered to be, you know, standard. So here's a yes from clinical medicine, whatever that is, and they're saying that's a rigorous journal that's highly cited. It's a randomized controlled study. So you can see that they lay it all out for you. They say this study's disputed, frontiers in pharmacology, systematic review. You know, so one of the things about research studies and meta-analyses is that, you know, there's a lot of players in the research field with strong ties to pharmaceutical companies. So in the biofeedback field, in these kinds of controversial questions, you'll see that you'll get all kinds of players in here, and they'll say that, like with the summary, they'll sometimes tell you that some of the studies have a high chance of bias, because of who's doing them. So let's see if I can go back to the headache one. Whoops, where is it? No, where's my? No, here, history, here we go. So we can go back to the biofeedback one, but you can see, I mean, do you think this is a value?
Sure. Do you happen to know offhand what the paid versions of these cost? The
Incredibly cheap. It's $8.99 a month.
for the consensus, the plugin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not used as a plugin here.
Oh, okay.
You just go to consensus.app.
Okay.
When I first did it on ChatGPT, they took me to this page rather than what we just saw it do inside ChatGPT. So, they're
Mhm.
always changing things. But you can just go to consensus.app and, and just start using it. I think they make you create an account, but you can create and the account, a free account, I think allows you to do 20 queries a month, which for most people is plenty, but I just went crazy, wanting to see how it worked and putting a lot of different questions in. So anyway, you can see how that works. Now there's so much more out there. Every day there's new AI platforms. Another one that we've been using, it's pretty amazing, is HeyGen, Heygen. And what that gives you is you can create videos with avatars. So they have photos of people, male, female, different ages, different nationalities, and they have voices. And you can basically put in a script and you can get these people to talk your video, talk your script, and it's pretty amazing. And the other thing you could do is you can create an avatar of yourself and then make videos of yourself. And you can add in, slides or images or whatever besides just you. You can break it up into scenes and you can create a video very quickly. I have issues when I try to just do an extemporaneous video of tripping over my words and having to do it over and over again. This avoids that, because you're just you're typing in your script, you have your image and voice in there, and it just makes a video of you going through your script and incorporating scenes and things like that. So we've been using that to create videos. We are having trouble finding enough time to do as much as we'd like with that, but that's a pretty cool platform. And that one, I think you have to pay for that one. It's $57 a month, so it's getting up there a little bit more. But because we want to do a lot of marketing and have good content on the website with videos, so it's worth it for me to do that. But anyway, there's just a bunch of cool stuff. So thank you all for coming. You all, I think, have my email. If you think of some other questions or need anything else from us, that would be great. So have a good rest of your night.